Commissioner Londo,
Present.
and Commissioner Worthing.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item number 2, acknowledgement of reappointed Commissioners Zaina El-Hassan and Portia Roberson. Oh, I need to bring mine in. On November 30th, 2023, Governor Gretchen Whitmer reappointed Commissioners Zaina Faraj El-Hassan and Portia Roberson to the commission with a new 4-year term that began on January 1st, 2024, and will expire on December 31st, 2027. So we thank Governor Whitmer for the reappointments, and we are both, I think I can speak for Commissioner El-Hassan, are very pleased to continue the good work of the commission. The next agenda item is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve or amend the agenda?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Works.
thank you. I would like to amend the proposed agenda to add an item 7, a new item 7, entitled Designation of Presiding Officer, and to then renumber the remaining parts of the agenda.
Is there a second?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Londo?
support.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? I think it may be appropriate to indicate why we are making that amendment at this time. This is all,
Madam Chair,
yes.
hate to be that parliamentary geek, but any motions dealing with the agenda is not debatable.
Okay, all right, well, good. You eliminated something I had to do. So thank you, Commissioner Worthams. Hearing no other discussion, all in favor of the motion to amend the agenda as submitted, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The motion carries unanimously and the agenda is approved. Again, good morning and welcome to the meeting of the Michigan Civil Rights Commission. We thank you for having us here in the beautiful historic former General Motors headquarters, which is now the Cadillac Place building in the city of Detroit. Before we continue with our opening matters agenda item, I will ask our General Counsel and Special Advisor, Lamont Satchel, to provide the role and authority of the commission for our audience. Attorney Satchel, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Michigan Civil Rights Commission was created by the Michigan Constitution in 1963 to safeguard constitutional and legal guarantees against discrimination. The commission is charged with investigating alleged discrimination against any person because of religion, race, color, national origin, genetic information, sex, sexual orientation, gender identification, age, marital status, height, weight, arrest record, and physical and mental disability. The Michigan Department of Civil Rights was created in 1965 and serves as the operational arm of the commission. Passage of the Elliott Larson's Civil Rights Act and the Persons with Disabilities Civil Rights Act in 1976 further clarified specific protections guaranteed under Michigan law. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Satchel. Moving on to item B, recognition of significant observances in January. There are several significant observances during the month of January relevant to civil rights, and we would like to recognize the following. On January 3rd, we acknowledge the anniversary of the first meeting of the Michigan Civil Rights Commission in 1964, making this the 60th anniversary of the commission. It is appropriate that the 60th anniversary is often celebrated with diamonds. Like those precious stones, the commission's legacy has proved that we can endure pressure. Over the years, we have continued to stand on the vanguard of civil rights protections and challenge the notion of expendable humanity. Every time our commission has voted to expand protections, we took another step toward the full promise of the 1963 Constitution. That is why it is forever important that we honor and recognize the historical context of the Michigan Civil Rights Commission. Last month, the commission, department, and a few of our closest friends gathered to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the commission. At that event, we recognized 4 individuals and 1 organization for exemplary civil rights leadership. We will also celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Michigan Department of Civil Rights in December 2024, and that ceremony will include more awards to courageous trendsetters. It is also our intention through the department to release some historical booklets over the next year to further document our journey. Most importantly, we will celebrate the commission's legacy by pushing the envelope of civil rights protections. One day, future commissioners will look back on what we did during this period. It is my hope that we can inspire them the way past leaders have inspired us. On January 15th, the nation celebrated what would have been the 95th birthday of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On January 16th, the nation celebrated the 8th annual National Day of Racial Healing. And on January 30th, we will celebrate the life of Fred T. Korematsu, a civil rights activist who objected to the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. He passed away on March 30th, 2005. We salute these great American heroes and acknowledge the vital and continuing need for racial healing. Moving on now to item C, public comment protocol. We will have our Director of Enforcement, Marcelina Trevino, come forward to provide the protocol for public comment. Attorney Trevino, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Commissioners, Madam Chair. Please note there will be 2 opportunities to provide public comment during today's meeting. If attendees wish to speak during the public comment portion of the agenda, you must sign up to do so within the next 10 minutes by completing a public comment form, which is yellow, as you'll see here. If you require assistance, please notify an MDCR staff member at the sign-in table. When it's time for public comment, Chair Roberson will call on attendees in the order in which we receive their request to speak. The public comment timeframe for speaking will be 2 minutes. There will be a visual timer showing the following colors: green for 2 minutes, yellow for 30 seconds, and red for stop. The timekeeper will verbally remind each speaker when 30 seconds remain. Please also be aware that MDCR staff will verbally warn any speakers only once if they use inappropriate, inflammatory, or disrespectful language. If use of that language continues, the speaker will be asked to stop commenting. That completes the public comment protocol. Chair Roberson, I turn the meeting back over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Trevino, Attorney Trevino. The next agenda item is adoption of the consent agenda. The following items from the agenda have been identified as those that may not require commission discussion prior to being adopted or received. Items may be removed from the consent agenda on the request of any commission member. Items not removed will then be moved for adoption by general consent without debate. Removed items will be taken up later on the agenda as indicated. For this meeting, Vicki Levengood, Director of Communications, has been removed from the consent agenda and will be reporting out on the activity of the Communications Division, and she will be presenting the draft of the 2023 annual report for the commission's approval. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Worthams?
move the adoption of the consent agenda.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Worthams. Is there a second?
Support.
We have support from Commissioner Lara. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of the motion to adopt the consent agenda as submitted, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The motion carries unanimously and the consent agenda is adopted. Our next agenda item is approval of minutes. We have received and reviewed the draft minutes from the October 23rd, 2023 meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
So moved.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Elasan. Is there a second?
Support.
We have support from Commissioner Worthams. Is there any discussion or revisions to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to approve the October 23rd minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously and the October 23rd minutes are approved. Our next agenda item is public comment. Again, if our audience would like to give public comment,
Madam Chair,
I'm sorry.
we added item.
Yes, my apologies. Commissioner Worthams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and apologies for stopping your flow there.
No, that's fine.
One rose. It was very nice. Madam Chair, in an effort to make sure that it's clear as you wrap up your term as the 2023 chair, that we continue to have a smooth flowing meeting though, and help with transition in the 2024 officers. I would like to move that we designate you to be the presiding officer for the entire duration of this meeting, including the election of 2024 officers. And then we'll turn things over to the 2024 chair at the adjournment of this meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Worthams. If I'm not mistaken, we need to take a motion on that. Was that a motion submitted, Commissioner Wortham?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is there support?
Support.
Commissioner Elasan has supported. All in favor of the amendment to the motion and the language that Commissioner Wortham just stated, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, so that motion carries unanimously, and what we will do is I will serve as presiding chair through the election and to the conclusion of the meeting before handing over the gavel to our next chair. All right, our next agenda item is now public comment. Again, if our audience would like to give public comment, please complete one of the gold forms made available at the registration table. Ms. Sanford will collect the forms. As a reminder, we will be taking comments in the order received. You will have 2 minutes to speak before the commission. Please note our timekeeper is Ms. Holly. Ms. Sanford, have we received all the forms?
Yes, we have, Chair. We're
And-
going to have one for you here.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning. May I have Ms. Simpson Gardner approach the podium, please? Ms. Simpson Gardner, can you state your whole name for the record and your city of residence?
Set my purse down. It's Sonia Simpson Gardner, and I am in the city of Southfield, Michigan.
All right, please continue.
Oh, okay. First of all, 2 minutes is really not enough for me to give the gist of what has happened. I actually came to a meeting previously, but I just wanted to say that my rights have been violated as an individual, a disabled individual, and a Black minority business owner. I came to the office asking for help against the Office of Insurance and Financial Services, but instead, this department paid or showed favoritism to that department. Held my case for over 5 years, did nothing to help me. When I had to go to court, I had to fight and represent myself against the U.S. Department of the U.S. Attorney's Office, excuse me, alone by myself. And that was very, very costly for me to try to maneuver and take care of everything myself. So I just wanted to say, if this is a department that's supposed to help individuals, it's just sad that I had to go through all of that by myself. I've been ignored. I've reached out to your department to try to talk to you, to let you know what was going on, and no one has helped me. So I just wanted to bring that forward to let you guys know, if we're helping minorities or if we're standing up for their rights, I am a minority. I'm a disabled minority who stood up for my rights, and I had to do everything on my own. So it took a lot for me to come here, but I wanted to just say that my battles are fought with God. God is my protector, and he has been the one that has been helping me. I ended up on financial assistance or public assistance as a result of what happened, and no one did anything. So I am going to continue to fight, stand up for the rights for other individuals, and make sure I come to these meetings so this does not happen to anyone. And the last thing, God bless my daughter with a full ride to the University of Michigan after all that I've been through. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Thank you very much, Ms. Simpson Gardner, for your comments. Do we have any other public comments, Ms. Sanford? All righty, we will offer an additional opportunity for public comment towards the end of the meeting, which is agenda item 11. Our next agenda item is division and other reports. We will start with our Executive Director, Attorney John E. Johnson, Jr. Good morning, Director Johnson. We have received your written report and you have the floor.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity to present some information about our department. As the Chair has indicated, I did submit a written report. I'm going to just go through that briefly, then just add some other items, some things that have developed since I submitted this written report, just so you're fully advised. Again, I start off, as I usually do, with personnel changes. A few staff have left. There's been, then this personal changes since our last meeting, which would be October, November, and December. So these promotions, these personal changes cover that 3-month period. Some new hires, and in fact, one is here with us today. I think Vicky sent you a email in regards to Annika Clemens, our new communications specialist, and she's attending her first meeting, and she's here to partake and observe the proceedings here. So we welcome her to the department. She's one of the new hires, and then a few transfers. Just a note, since I was privileged to become the executive director. We did go back and do a little audit on personnel. And sure all of you know that the staff has increased from 85 employees to about 120 now. We're about to bring on board probably another 15 in the next couple of weeks. And then we went back and did an audit on the promotions within the program during the past 2.5 years. There's been 31 promotions, internal promotions within the department. So it surely reflects certainly some changes within the department, some additional monies that we received in order to be able to promote some people to other positions and then form some new teams. So we're pretty proud of that personnel record. Budget update. The main thing you need to know is that we are submitting begun the process for fiscal year 25. I mentioned at the last meeting, I believe, that we were submitting proposals for change. I'd been advised by the former budget director, David Ruskin, that the financial situation this year would not be as robust as it was last year, fiscal year 24, even though they did entertain a number of proposals for changes from a number of departments. We've submitted several totaling almost $9 million following a meeting with the state budget office. And again, them stressing the fact that the budget revenue has changed. It's not the same, it's not as robust. Federal monies that were in the budget before pretty much have been allocated under fiscal year 24 budget. So we were asked to scale back our proposals for change, which we did. We cut it in half from about 9 million to about 4.6 million. And so we're waiting final determination on that and recommendation from the state budget office. We should be getting that pretty soon. So we cut almost everything in half that we had asked for. That did include, as I mentioned, I think at the last meeting, we were preparing a proposal for change for this commission to cover some of the expenses that you incur holding these meetings. And then we expect to be more activity in terms of charges and listing the cases. So we included all that in the budget. We'll advise you, of course, as we go forward as to what the recommendation will be from the state budget office. That's just the beginning. It goes from there to the governor's office. Then, of course, she makes the final decision and may agree with SBO and may not. They may make her own changes, but that's the process. In enforcement, well, do want to indicate that there's a very comprehensive report in the manual from Marcelina Trevino, our enforcement director. I just lifted a couple of excerpts from that, because the backlog was a priority for this commission last year. So I want to make sure we kept an eye on that and make sure we report it out to you consistently on where we are with that backlog. But before I get to that, I do want to indicate that we did meet both of our federal contracts last year. As a matter of fact, we're entertaining, if we can, perhaps maybe an increase of some of that work, because we were able to handle what we do have and met the contract under both the EOC and HUD contracts. Our investigations, this indicates how many were completed during the last fiscal year, 1,368, and it breaks down those investigations between EOC, housing, and what we call MDCR only cases. Those would be everything other than housing and employment. So that might include matters like education. So, and police, and police complaints. So that would be under the MDCR only cases. Indicates our current intake numbers have increased even more, up to 647 average for the first quarter of fiscal year 24. As a result, a number of the new staff we're bringing on will be intake staff, because we need people in order to receive the matters and then obviously talk to the customer, take those matters in, and then begin the process. And that's the most important. That's the portal to our agency. So there'll be more intake workers hired in order to handle the increased intake. Currently, as of the end of the year, 2,838 cases, open cases in our inventory. And then again, a breakdown of those by EOC and DCR only in housing, 1,327 backlog cases. Again, taking you back to June of 2021, that figure was, I think, about 2,900. And now we're looking at 1,327. So we're steadily working at bringing that backlog down. The Enforcement Division has done a magnificent job in terms of doing that, meeting their quotas every month, making sure that we maintain, again, our contracts and whittle away at that backlog. We're taking some other steps in order to decrease that backlog, understanding what was just said by the lady during public comment. I'm going to fall into another matter that affects enforcement, and that was a meeting of the House Committee on Ethics and Oversight, which met last week, and the subject of their meeting was the Office of Auditor General's performance audit on MDCR. So the OAG had opportunity to present their findings within that report. I think all of you are aware of that. We talked about that. The most material finding was the fact that we had an average of 19 months to complete investigation of a case. I also want to remind you that we asked for that audit. And I would remind you of that. That was not brought out during the testimony of the staff from the OAG. We'll make sure we straighten that out when we appear before them on February 15th. We could not appear at the same time because key staff were out of town last week. So we arranged to go before them on the 15th. Commissioner Worthams was in the audience. He heard the entire hearing. Jerome Reed and I listened to it, entire hearing virtually. So we're aware of everything that was asked. We're aware of everything that they're concerned about. Commissioner Wortham and I spoke about it afterwards and determined that we will work together to look at a strategy prior to our February 15th meeting to address what was said and certainly to prepare for our appearance before that committee. We're going back again to the backlog because it does tie in. Again, 1,327 cases now exist. Working on those, there's been a requirement that certain backlog cases be part of EAF investigators' monthly total. More importantly, our Deputy Director Kim Woolridge and Director Trevino are working with the Alternative Dispute Resolution Center to work out agreement with them. So that, and we also hired a mediator, by the way, as part of the extra funds in order to mediate cases, but working on an agreement with ADR in order to be able to move our MDCR only cases into that arena in a hope that we can resolve these cases quicker to avoid investigation, get them resolved, and then get them out of that backlog status. So that's movement in terms of what we're doing to further reduce the backlog, other than using our investigators who have done an excellent work in doing that. Next item in my report is the summit that's been headed up by our Special Projects Director, Harold Core, along with two other key staff members working as a team, Patty Barrera and Liliana Stoneback are working together along with a number of internal staff members. We've had our first overall planning committee. Again, you've heard the plans, February 7th, virtual hearing, public hearing designed to bring forth testimony from those who feel they've been the victim of housing discrimination. February 7th, virtual hearing, then two in-person hearings in Flint, and then later on in Grand Rapids in April, culminating again as with our summit in June 12th. So they've worked together. We've had meetings. We've met with the Fair Housing Centers, developed what we think is a pretty comprehensive agenda for that summit. And now we're in the process of looking at getting speakers in order to be able to put the meat on the bones. Also wanted to mention executive order from the governor came out last week, which in terms of some reorganization, some of you may know that she established a new department, MyLeap, which deals with educational matters. She's transferring the Michigan Indian Tuition Waiver Program from MDCR to MyLeap. So she's working with us for that transition, working with the DEI department, which is where it's housed now. Melissa Keys Wetter is our tribal liaison, and she's working with the governor's office and Alfredo Corzin, Hernandez Corzin, who's director of that department, is working for that on that transfer of that program from MDCR over to my league. Finally, also under community engagement, there has been a request from some students to present some information to you. The Michigan Youth Civil Rights Academy Fellows has submitted a video of the fellows addressing the commission and creating a call to action on the topic of book banning. They are sharing their personal experiences related to book banning and are asking for our department to work with them on a resolution to present to you for you to consider. So just wanted you to know that very anxious and working on this issue that comes out of Tony Lewis's shop, working with these youth on this resolution. They have a video they put together. I told Tony that we get it out to you so you'll be able to view that. So just wanted to put you aware of that. And finally, we're working on amendments to other additional amendments to the L.A. Larson Civil Rights Act, the Persons with Disabilities Civil Rights Act, because of the 5454 population of the legislature, Democrats or Republicans. There's really no movement on anything going on there. So we had hoped we'd be able to push these amendments through during this latter part of this term. We're not sure now because there's been a standstill on legislation because of that tie vote in the House. That, Madam Chair, is the end of my report.
Thank you, Director Johnson, for your report. Commissioners, are there any questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Williams.
not so much a question, but just a comment, and I want to compliment the director for responding to my text / phone calls as I was sitting in the House Office Building, looking at the House Ethics and Oversight Committee, received the report from the Auditor General. You know, those things are always sometimes more dramatic and at the time than they actually are in reality. But of course, perception is reality. And when you're dealing with the legislature, that very much rules the day, particularly when you have a House that is going to be evenly split at 54-54 through the end of April at the least. So while I give you compliments, I do want to stress, particularly to Dr. Reed, with a 54-54 House, all the action is going to happen at committees. It's not going to happen on the floor. It's going to happen at the committees. And so we need to make sure that we have a presence at those committees, not necessarily during meetings, but before and after, and definitely trying to meet with the various representatives prior to those committee meetings. I've offered to be of assistance to that. Please definitely continue to take me up on that. But I really want to stress that you know, like they mentioned in Hamilton, you have to be in the room where it happens. And if we're not going to have folks in that room, we're going to have a very long and hard road ahead of us. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Worthams. Commissioner Ellison.
Also, compliments to all the great work that's been happening in the department, certainly the new hires. And reducing the backlog with respect to investigations. I always seem to ask this question, so forgive me for asking it yet again. You indicated, I think in your introductory comment about promotions and hires, 15 additional hires that are coming down the pipeline.
Right, yes.
And are any of those hires within investigations? Because
Yes.
I'm still concerned, you know, we talk about 2,900 cases in 2021. Yes, that's gone down. There's still significant backlog. When I look at the 2022 numbers, the increases within those investigations also is a little bit concerning to me. So as soon as we can hopefully bring in those new hires and get those cases moving, I'm sure it'll be a relief to your department, but also to the complainants that have been waiting on these complaints to move forward. So.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner, and I appreciate that. Yes, actually, I believe we have probably 18 limited term investigators that we're looking for now. Again, I've explained before, limited term is difficult because we can only offer them a 1-year employment because it's limited, it's one-term money. It's one-time money. It's not ongoing money. So when you advertise for the position, you have to indicate that they're limited term. Well, that immediately affects the pool
Yep.
because you're looking, people are only going to apply who need a job, don't like their job, or certainly have a passion for civil rights and they're willing to take a risk. So, so as a result, it's kind of difficult to get limited term employees, but that's our goal. And I think then there's additional six, I think intake workers, all right? Six intake workers and 18 investigators we're looking at bringing on board eventually through our limited term postings.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lara?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Director, for your reports. Very thorough. I just wanted to check my math as you were talking about the number of investigations open, that there's 2,838 open as of the end of 2023 and 1,327 backlogged. So does that mean that we received 1,511 new cases in 2023 that are still outstanding?
I have
Certainly. That's why I'm checking that.
Ms. Trevino address that question, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner, may you repeat the question, please? Just because I brought my report. I just,
Okay.
okay.
So the question is, I'm just checking my math here. And the director indicated that there were 2,838 2,838 investigations open as of the end of 2023. And of those, 1,327 are backlogged. So if I do the math, does that mean that there's 1,511 cases from 2023 that are now in the?
That is correct. Those are from October 1st of 2022
Right.
through, yes, that is correct.
Thank you. So that was one comment. The other one is, I'm really looking forward to seeing the video from the youth. I think they are our future, and every time that we have exposure to them and they are able to, give their thoughts to us, I think bodes really well for our future. I was privileged to be at a school board meeting of Grand Haven Public Schools last year. And one of the discussion items was book banning. And the students that got up to speak were so eloquent in their opposition to banning books. I am really excited that the students have taken this up, because this is the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lara. Are there any other questions or comments from any of the commissioners? Seeing none, we will move on to the next agenda item, General Counsel Report from Attorney Lamont Satchel. Good morning again, Mr. Satchel. We have received your written report and you have the floor.
Thank you and good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I have 3 items to report on, first of which is the comprehensive review of an amendment to our internal processes. The Michigan Department of Civil Rights initiated the process of comprehensively reviewing its internal policies, referee manual, and commission rules to align them and codify existing practices and procedures related to the processing and resolution of complaints and investigations. It has been determined that further amendment to the commission rules is necessary, and a select group of department staff have reviewed each of the existing rules for alignment with current practices and anticipated future needs and concerns. Based on this review, appropriate amendments have been made to the rules, and once properly formatted, will be presented to the commission for adoption, followed by initiation of the state of Michigan's formal rule amendment process. The second item, Madam Chair, relates to the dynamic character legislation, which I believe the commission is very well apprised of. The department prepared draft legislation designed to avoid and address the legal issues posed by the existing legislation, which requires the commission to adopt and post on its website the dynamic character symbol. The proposed draft resolution was discussed with and reviewed by our AG legal counsel and shared with Patty Tremblay from the governor's office, and Mr. Troy Hagan, who is the legislative liaison for MDOT. In response, MDOT shared an analysis of the current legislation referencing the incompatibility of the law with current state and federal law and its proposed legislative resolution. All parties agreed that the legislation is passed is illegal and that testing must be done as a foundational step to seeking approval from the federal government to adopt and use the dynamic character. At its October 23rd, 2023 commission meeting, the Michigan Civil Rights Commission approved a resolution which confirmed its understanding of the legal issues inherent in the dynamic character legislation and affirmed its decision to refrain from implementing the requirements of the legislation. In discussions with MDOT, the department has agreed to pursue legislative adoption of proposed legislation that would correct the legal deficiencies in the dynamic character legislation and make MDOT responsible for the requirement of implementing any dynamic character objectives and requirements. MDOT has taken the lead on obtaining legislative sponsorship for the new legislation and is in discussions with the prospective legislative sponsor for the legislation. The proposed legislation is also being reviewed by the Legislative Services Bureau. And lastly, Madam Chair, Commissioners, the issue with respect to a request for legal opinion. The commission voted at its October 2023 meeting on motions duly made by Commissioner Londo and supported by Commissioner Lara to request a legal opinion from department staff on whether it's a violation of a transgender and non-binary student civil rights under the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act to refuse to address them by their chosen pronouns and names and prepare an interpretive statement as may be necessary for consideration and approval by the commission. Also, there was a motion and request that a legal opinion be provided on whether denying transgender students access to restrooms in accordance with their gender identity violates the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act or other civil rights laws. The basis of these motions was uncertainty over whether such actions are covered under the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act and could form the basis for MDCR complaint. Based on internal discussions with the department's enforcement staff, the Michigan Department of Civil Rights accepts currently complaints related to these two issues and currently has cases pending in both areas. Moreover, it has been a longstanding practice and institutional safeguard of the commission to refrain from getting involved in matters that are currently under review by the department prior to them being properly presented to the commission for review and action. As the commission is the final administrative arbiter and legal authority in the absence of a judicial appeal on what constitutes a violation of the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act, it would be inappropriate and potentially prejudicial to parties before the department for the commission to potentially influence ongoing investigations directly or indirectly by forecasting or presaging its position. Therefore, it has been determined that neither a legal opinion nor interpretive statement will be necessary or appropriate under the circumstances. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Satchel, for your report. Commissioners, are there any questions or comments?
Just a comment.
Commissioner Ellison?
Huge congrats on all the great work that's legally related, but more specifically on the dynamic character legislation, because I know how steadfast you held on to that position, and to see the sort of turnaround from MDOT is, I think, speaks volumes about the great work and legal background that you and your team did in order to get that before the legislation. So thank you for that one.
Thank you, Vice Chair Elson. And I just have to credit the director who was very adamant, and that's putting it mildly, that he wasn't going to do it. So yeah, I had no option. So
It's like, absolutely not.
I think good work on both of your behalves that we don't have to sort of lead the charge on this. So thank you.
Or break the law.
Right, exactly. Anything else from any other commissioners? All right, seeing none, thank you again for your report, Attorney Satchel. We will now move on to our next agenda item, a presentation from Vicki Levengood, who serves in the capacity of Director of Communications. Ms. Levengood, oh, I'm sorry, we put that, did we adjourn that?
no,
No?
it's on.
Okay. Ms. Levengood is joining us virtually, so we'll give the AB techs a few moments to connect Ms. Levengood.
Hello, Madam Chair, everyone. Are you able to hear me?
We are. Good morning. We
Terrific.
received your written report and you now have the floor.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity to report virtually on the work of the Communications Division in the fourth quarter of this last year. And of course, I just lost my notes. They're back, thankfully. You all have my report, my communications report in your packet, so I won't belabor it and go through every item, but I wanted to touch on a few highlights. As you know, the communications division, with me at the head, it handles all media inquiries, both pitching proactively stories to news media and responding to those inquiries. I have a list of the press releases we issued in the last quarter, which the fourth quarter is always somewhat light with the holidays, but so it's a shorter list than usual, but we did do releases on the commission's action, the resolution on driver's licenses for undocumented workers in the state. We also promoted the hearing in Detroit, the housing hearing, sent out a release and pitched to various reporters. But the largest issue that we faced and promoted was we held a news conference on November 15th to announce charges that we were filing against the Studio 8 hair salon in Traverse City for their discriminatory advertisements and communication over social media. That news story was pretty massive. We saw it, ahead of time. So I arranged to, I pitched the staff and the leadership on holding a virtual news conference, which is much more efficient way of communicating what we want to communicate than waiting and fielding dozens and dozens of individual media inquiries. That resulted in literally, I'm sure, dozens of news media stories, including, because there was an Associated Press covered our virtual news conference and did a story. And it's very hard to track AP stories, just how far and wide they go. I assume that within state, from my years of experience, that it ran in dozens of media outlets and newspapers around the state. And we know that it was also, it also ran in various larger, either national and or regional outlets around the country, including the Los Angeles Times, the USA Today. I think ABC News and NBC News both featured it on their websites, and various other outlets around the country carried the Associated Press story. If you missed that news conference and want to view it, I can send a link to it. It is posted on our YouTube page. So that was a very successful event. We also, some of the other proactive proactive and reactive media relations we did a statement on the spike in hate crimes. And then the director did an interview with the Michigan Advance on the spike in hate crimes. He also did a lengthy interview with Nusrat Rahman of the Detroit Free Press on housing discrimination and the fair housing hearing in Detroit. I worked with Enforcement Division Director Marcelina Trevino to review responses to a reporter's inquiry on our financial data. And then she did an interview with a little prep for me, although she's a pro, with the Lansing State Journal on the expansion of ELCRA and some specific provisions under ELCRA. We also handled multiple media inquiries on a complaint of discrimination that had been filed against the Williamston schools on trans students' restroom use. That it may be an item to star because my sense is there is going to be additional media on this issue. We already know of at least one other school, reporters have told me, in mid-Michigan, where this is becoming an issue as well. Let me scroll down. As you know, we publish two newsletters. Crown, our internal, regular monthly internal newsletter that goes out on or very near to the first of every month. Crown, you all should receive Crown. And if anyone isn't, please make sure to drop me a note and we will double check our list of subscribers. We also publish the My Civil Rights Monthly External Newsletter. That newsletter features extensive legislative updates from MDCR's legislative liaison, Dr. Jerome Reed, along with other timely news of the department and the commission. So please, that email as well should be coming to all of you. I also am responsible in my role for drafting speeches, public comments, remarks, talking points, that kind of thing. In that capacity, I drafted an initial remarks for the director for his Studio 8 news conference presentation, and various talking points for other folks, depending on what the issue might be throughout that quarter. A big portion of my time in the last quarter was devoted to the annual report, which I will report on later in this meeting, so I won't belabor it here, but obviously, drafting articles, researching material that, to focus on what the commission and the department had done in fiscal year 2023, and then working closely with the designer on both design concepts, structure of the report, and images. It's a huge job. So let me look down through. Obviously, we also review communications reviews and kind of puts our stamp of approval on any external facing documents, from flyers to social media graphics, all of that is funneled through us. I tend to try to lightly edit things where needed. When other folks have written some copy that will be external facing, as the chief writer, I tend to handle that part of the task. Let's see, we've begun drafting the communications plan for the Voting Rights Project, which I know is a high priority for this commission, and promoting the remaining 3 public hearings on housing, and the summit. I've also reviewed all the work of our new staffer, Annika Clemens, who I couldn't be more thrilled to have on board. So I review and approve social media content calendars for the last quarter for December of 2023 and January of 24, as Annika came on board. I worked with Annika, but it's really Annika who deserves the credit on a LinkedIn advertising strategy for promoting the Native American Boarding School Study RFP. I'll mention that a little bit further in my report here. And we made sure to arrange meet and greet sessions for Annika with the various divisions, so she could get up to speed on what they do and be able to help promote what they do on social media and assist me with other communications related tasks. That brings me to the social media report. Most of this credit for the wins that I'll announce here goes to Annika. It's very exciting to have someone who understands the trends, it understands what's going to work on social media, and is able to draft plans, social media content planning ahead of time, rather than just being somewhat reactive. So I'm really excited about that. I do want to take a moment though to thank Harold Core and give him credit for, I don't remember, Director, possibly you do, how long Harold has, along with other duties, been helping out comms with social media during the time that it was primarily, me alone doing this work. And I can't thank him enough for his work and his collaboration during those many months. So for the last quarter, some of the highlights of our social media. First of all, we added an account on LinkedIn. That's new for us. I had hesitated to add it because I hesitate to add new accounts when I'm not sure we have the bandwidth to do them justice. Annika has taken that on and is doing a fantastic job. We also have Instagram account for the department, obviously a Facebook page, and an X, formerly Twitter account. We also manage a Facebook page for the Division on Deaf, Deafblind, and Hard of Hearing. And we work closely with Director Annie Uraski on content, making sure the content's appropriate for that page and reaches the right audience. So I wanted to just run through a couple of stats. Instagram, we reached 8, and we're prior to Annika's coming on board, our Instagram had been a little weak. We weren't pushing it heavily. We had reached 832 users. Still a low number, but we're in the beginning stages, but that's up 68% from the last reporting period. Facebook, we reached more than 26,000 users during the fourth quarter. That's up 149% from the previous reporting period. And we had 140 new likes and followers. Interestingly, the top post was a boosted post about the November public hearing on housing discrimination. On LinkedIn, we posted our first LinkedIn post on November 13th in honor of Native American Heritage Month, and the profile has received 37 new followers in the fourth quarter. We hope to grow that significantly going forward. We provided, and Annika is entirely responsible for this, a paid advertising strategy option to the community engagement and education team for promotion of their hate and bias, my response to hate, PSA, and also the forums that they hold monthly. And as mentioned, we executed a paid ad campaign to drive applications for the Native American Boarding School Study, RFP. And the result of that, I think the campaign expenditure was $1,000. If I'm wrong about that, Annika, please step up and tell folks I'm wrong, but I think it was $1,000. And we generated more than 150,000 impressions and nearly 900 clicks. So that was exceeded all the expectations we had for that ad, and actually the estimation that we received ahead of time. So that was very successful. And that's really it for my report, unless any of the commissioners or Madam Chair, you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Levingood, for your presentation. Commissioners, do we have any questions or comments? Commissioner Londo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As a communications practitioner myself, I have to say how much I enjoy writing talking points for other people, but when it comes to myself, not so much. So I just want to thank Ms. Levingood for always making sure that I'm extraordinarily well prepared to communicate the great work of this body. I know Ms. Levingood said that Q4 is supposed to be a light quarter, and it's generally the case. Mine was nice and chill, and I enjoyed it. But reading through this report, I just have to, mention how uncommon it is for a department to be this active when it comes to, press releases, media inquiries, proactive communications. And I just really want to commend you, but also apologize that your Q4 was so busy. And then finally, as the only millennial on this body, I've been acutely aware of the massive improvement in social media. So I just have to say how excited I am that Ms. Clemens is on board. Thank you.
Thank you so
We're
much.
all
Commissioner.
millennials,
Suggestion that
actually.
I'm not a millennial, Commissioner Londo, but you're right, I'm not. So that's quite all right. Any other questions or comments? I think Commissioner Elisana and I had the exact same.
I'm not going to admit that I'm not a millennial.
Gen Z, right?
I think.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Levingood, for your report. I know we will see you back shortly to talk
Yes.
about the annual report.
Thank you all.
Okay, moving forward, Attorney Jeter, there you are. I know where you were and I couldn't, started looking around. We have your written report, but we're welcome to hear your report in person.
Thank you, Chairperson Roberson and Commissioners. I have provided you the written report. However, I want to highlight a few cases that are active and have recently been dismissed, after which, if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. So starting with item 1 on my written report, Sonia Simpson Gardner versus the department. This case arose from an administrative appeal. It was filed in the Oakland County Circuit Court, and at issue was the department's decision to dismiss a request for reconsideration. The reason the department did so was because it was an untimely request. The circuit court entertained our motion to dismiss in this matter. And in October of 2023, the circuit court ended up affirming the department's decision and dismissing the matter. The appellate in this case did not file a subsequent appeal, so this matter is effectively closed. The next 3 items in my written report are Christian Healthcare Centers versus the Attorney General, the Commission, and the department. St. Joseph Parish versus the Attorney General, the department, and the commission, and then Sacred Heart versus the Attorney General, the department, and the commission. All three of these cases arise from the dismissal of a lawsuit by Judge Beckering in federal court. The appellant in these cases appealed to the Sixth Circuit. I would let the commission know we have filed our principal briefs in all 3 of those cases. We've also responded to any supplementary motions that the appellants have filed in all 3 of these cases. All 3 of these cases currently are pending before the Sixth Circuit on appeal. The fifth item in my report is Raymond Kyle versus Director Johnson. This is another case that arose from an administrative appeal. We filed a motion for summary disposition in this case as well. In November of last year, the court entered an order granting our motion for summary disposition. The appellate in this case has not filed a subsequent appeal. So effectively, again, this matter is closed. The next case, item 6, is American Freedom Law Center versus Arbalou. As indicated in my report, this is a lawsuit that has been pending for the last several years. We filed our briefs in this matter. All briefing has been completed, so this matter remains in the federal district court awaiting an original decision. Item 7 on my report is John Isaac Harris versus the department. In this matter, a lawsuit was filed in the Wayne County Circuit Court. This is a case where we filed a motion to dismiss. The Wayne County Circuit Court entered a final order dismissing this matter in August of last year. However, in this case, in lieu of filing an appeal, the plaintiff opted to file another complaint in federal court. So this case is as indicated in item 8, John Isaac Harris filed another complaint, this time in federal court, against the department. We expect to file a motion to dismiss in this case this week on Friday. So this matter is pending in the federal court. Moving on to item 9 in my report, City of Grand Rapids versus the department and the commission. This is a complaint filed in the Court of Claims. This case arises from the department's investigations pertaining to the Grand Rapids Police Department. In this complaint before the Court of Claims, we filed briefs in this matter, seeking dismissal of this matter. At this point, all briefing has been done. We expect the ACLU to file an amicus brief if they have not already done so, after which the Court of Claims will likely schedule oral arguments or just issue a decision on the matter. That takes us to item 10 of my report, which is Catalina Ayala versus Grand Rapids Police Department and the City of Grand Rapids. This is a case where we filed seeking to compel discovery. However, in light of the pending matter in the Court of Claims, the judge in this case opted to hold in abeyance and a decision on our complaint until the Court of Claims reaches a decision pertaining to the other matter in item 9. Which leads me to item 11 in my written report. It is Studio 8 Hair Lab versus the City of Traverse City. This is a case filed in the circuit court. We received information that Studio 8 would be amending their complaint to include the department as a defendant. However, as of today, they have not properly served the department. So this matter is kind of just out there. We're waiting to see if they can perfect service. With that said, if there are any questions as to my written report, I'm happy to answer them.
Commissioners, does anyone have any comments or questions? Hearing none, thank you, Attorney Jeter, for your report. And we will move on now to the next agenda item, which is commission business. Our first item under commission business is the chair's report, and my report is as follows. I simply want to take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you first to Governor Whitmer for my reappointment to this commission. Thank you to my fellow commissioners for allowing me to serve as chair. It's been a pleasure and an honor for the last 2 years to serve as chair. You all have heard me say this many, many times before, but I'll say it one last time. My father served on the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. He also served for a short time as chair. So it is a full circle moment for me to have been able to serve as chair as well. In addition, most importantly, I want to thank you, Director Johnson, for giving me this opportunity, and specifically Sean Sanford, who has made it possible for me to look good at each and every one of these meetings. Believe me, it has not been easy. So I thank you very much. I'm deeply appreciative. And although this is my final time as chair of the commission, didn't expect to get a little emotional. Think mentioning my dad always. Although this is my last time as chair of the commission, I am happy to continue the work of with all of you commissioners, and certainly the work of civil rights on behalf of all Michiganders. So thank you very much. And excuse me for getting a little emotional. Like I said, I didn't expect that. So thank you very, very much. All right, moving on to the next order of business, the assignment of committees for Commission's 2024 priorities. During the October 23rd meeting, the commission adopted the following priorities for 2024, which included voting rights, environmental justice with a focus on climate equity, diversity, equity, and inclusion with a focus on artificial intelligence, AI discrimination, and juvenile justice. Committees will be formed to take the lead and focus on their assigned priority and bring recommendations to the commission regarding next steps, which may include, but are not limited to, holding special meetings, public hearings, listening sessions, inviting special guests and or expert witnesses, and preparing studies and or reports. Before I move on to volunteers for those important items, I'd ask Commissioner Lara, I'm sorry, I'd give Commissioner Lara the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In view of all of these particular items, as well as needing some additional information, I would like to propose that we do not have a committee this year for environmental justice, but rather focus on learning more about environmental justice at a future educational meeting for the commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Lara. I don't know if that has to be done through a motion. I think that was as simply as it does need to be done.
I believe it does.
Commissioner Worthams.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, because we adopted that as a motion in November, it probably should
Okay.
take a motion to unadopt it.
So hearing that motion from Commissioner Lara, is there a motion of support?
Support.
Thank you, Commissioner Worthams. Discussion? All right, hearing no discussion, the motion has, I'm sorry, hearing no discussion. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 All those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the motion has passed unanimously, and we will remove the environmental justice with a focus on climate equity from our priority items for the 2024 year. Now, my fellow commissioners, I call for volunteers to serve on the remaining various committees. We are first starting with the Voting Rights Committee. Are there any volunteers?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Wortham.
I would like to continue serving as chair of the Voting Rights Committee. The voting rights thing.
Thank you, Commissioner Worthams. I would also like to volunteer to assist on that committee. Any other, Commissioner Corvo?
Yes, I would continue working with Commissioner Worthams on the Voting Rights Committee.
Perfect, thank you. Any other volunteers for that committee? Moving forward, diversity, equity, and inclusion with a focus on artificial intelligence discrimination.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Londo.
I'd be honored to serve on that committee.
Thank you very much. Any other volunteers?
I would Madam like to Chair.
volunteer on that. Okay, thank you, Commissioner Barker. Commissioner Lara.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. And juvenile justice. May I have any volunteers to work on that commission? On that committee, my
Madam-
apologies.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. Just for clarification with respect to the DEI, who's the chair of that?
I do not know that we have a chair at this point. We have a committee. but-
Oh, just, okay, those, okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I'd be
Commissioner.
honored.
Thank you very much. We now have a chair. It will be Commissioner Londo. And juvenile justice.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Wortham.
while I don't want to volunteer to be chair, I would like to volunteer for that committee.
Thank you very much.
I'm happy to chair that.
Thank you, Commissioner Ellison.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I would also like to be a part of that committee.
thank you, Commissioner Lara. So we have a chair and two committee members. We will now move on to item C, the 2023 annual report. And I believe Ms. Levengood has to join us again. Is that correct?
Yes, Madam Chair, I am here.
There we go.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to chat through a little bit this report. You all should have received it last week. It begins, I think I wanted to point out specifically that the design is very different this year, focusing on people rather than places and things, which I like. We begin the report obviously with we always have a letter from the chair. So Chair, I hope you would give that particular attention. And then we talk about the background of the commission, and much of this stays relatively the same year to year. And the history of the creation of the commission, what it is we do, who we are and what we do are the next sections. And then we go into bios of all the commissioners and photos of all of you. And then we always lead with an article on some of the highlights of commission activity in the previous fiscal year. We did a feature that's a little bit separate from us, but very connected on the vote to expand ELCRA because of this commission's leadership over nearly 4 decades in promoting expansion of ELCRA to include protections for the LGBTQ community. We have a little sidebar on Commissioner Londo's testimony on ELCRA expansion. We discussed the charges that we brought against the Grand Rapids Police Department in another article. And then we have a fairly lengthy article detailing the summit last year, which was focused on the impact of discrimination on health. And that includes links to videos of many of the sessions. We then have a section devoted to highlights from each of our divisions. And you can obviously read through those. We have some additional sidebars. I did want to mention specifically that we have a photo of investigator Yvonne Sloan, who was honored for 50 years of service to this department, which is just incredible. Then one of the last major stories in the report is on the hate crimes conference, which was extremely successful. And let's see, I'm scrolling down through. We have a section, just in the last 2 years, we've expanded the section of bios of our executive team. I think it's important for people to know who it is the MDCR is. And so we have those bios added. And then really the 2 most important pages of the report, I think, are the MDCR by the numbers there, where people can get a kind of a bite-sized look at the meat of what we do in enforcement and what those numbers are, and a little blurb about our reach and engagement from the various teams that are actively working to connect with people in communities. So that's really it for the report. I'm happy to answer any questions any of you may have.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, are there any comments or concerns with regards to the 2023 annual report? Commissioner Lara?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to especially commend you about and I lost it on my iPad, but the page that has all the infographics with all the numbers. I think that's a very clear picture, and it's one page that would really, that we can show external people what we do, what the department does, and how we're able to focus on the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, Executive Director Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to comment. I think it's a very visually stunning product. It was, I think Vicki may mention it, but it was all emailed to you last week. Commissioner Barker has a text-only copy. But this was pretty much done by Vicki. So we want to thank her for, I think is stunning, and with a new graphic artist, by the way, not the person that we normally use. So I think it's a very nice product that was put together, and certainly indicative of the professional work that comes out of that division. So it's just my 2 cents.
I would agree, Director Johnson. It is visually stunning, and I think really encompasses all of the work of the department throughout the year. So thank you to all of you all, particularly you, Ms. Levengood, but also to all of the folks that support you in making sure that we have an annual report that we can all be proud of. Commissioners, are there any other comments? All right. Is there a motion to adopt the 2023 annual report as submitted?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Londo,
so moved.
is there a second?
Support.
Thank you, Commissioner Worthams. Are there any discussion or any revisions to the report? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to adopt the report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The motion carries unanimously and the 2023 annual report is adopted. Thank you very much. Commissioners, I'm going to ask that we take about a 5, maybe 10-minute break right now if we can, and then we'll reconvene shortly. Is that okay? Thank you. Yes. Since I didn't gavel us out, do I need to gavel us back in just for purposes of? Don't worry about it. What do you think? We will now move on to item D, nominating committee report. The nominating committee for the 2024 election of officers was appointed at the October 23rd, 2023 meeting. The committee included Commissioner Corvo, Commissioner Barker, and Commissioner Gasco, and myself. I will now announce the slate of names set forth by the nominating committee for the positions of Commission Chair, Vice Chair, and Secretary. Commission Chair, Commissioner Lara, Vice Chair, Commissioner David Worthams, and Secretary, Commissioner Luke Londo. Thank you to the nominating committee for your service. This brings us to the next agenda item, new business. Commissioners, do we have any new business items before us for discussion? All right, seeing no new business, we will now move forward to the next item, public comment. This is the second public comment opportunity we mentioned earlier, and we will continue to follow the same protocol set forth by Attorney Trevino earlier in the meeting. Ms. Holly will continue to serve as timekeeper. Ms. Sanford, have we received any forms?
Madam Chair, no, we don't have any more public comment forms for the day.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sanford. Thank you to everyone who spoke before the commission this afternoon. This concludes our opportunity for public comment. We now have come to the next agenda item, the 2024 election of officers. Is there a motion has been made by myself for the slate? Is there a second?
Second.
We have support from Commissioner Barker. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Madam Chair, I don't believe as chair, you can make a motion.
I can't make the motion. Okay, I'm sorry. So I read the slate. My apologies, everyone. I read the slate. Can I have a motion to adopt the slate as was read by myself?
So moved.
Commissioner Elasan has made the motion. Is there a second? We received a second from Commissioner Barker, I believe. Is there any discussion on the slate? Commissioner Corvo seconded as well. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. All right, we will now vote on each position in the order that was listed earlier, beginning with chair. The nominating committee having nominated Commissioner Lara as chair. Are there any further nominations for chair?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Worthams.
I move nominations for chair be closed.
There being no further nominations for chair, without objection, nominations are closed. Nominations being closed and there being no nomination other than Commissioner Lara for chair. Is there a motion to elect Commissioner Lara as chair by acclamation vote of aye or no?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Londo?
so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Elasan. All in favor of Commissioner Lara serving as chair indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed indicate by saying no. The yeas have it, and Commissioner Lara is elected to serve as chair for the 2024 year. Congratulations. All right, we will now vote on vice chair. The nominating committee having nominated Commissioner Worthams. Are there any further nominations for vice chair?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Londo?
move nominations be closed for the office of Vice Chair.
There being no further nominations for vice chair, without objection, nominations are closed. Nominations being closed and there being no nomination other than Commissioner Worthams for vice chair, is there a motion to elect Commissioner Worthams as vice chair?
So moved.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Elasan. Is there a second?
Support.
A second has been offered by Commissioner Lara. We have all in favor of Commissioner Worthams serving as vice chair indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposition? The yeas again have it, and Commissioner Worthams is elected vice chair for the 2024 year. Congratulations. We will now vote on the position of recording secretary, or secretary, I'm sorry, beginning with I'm sorry, let me start that again. We will now vote on the position of vice chair. The nominating committee having nominated Commissioner Londo to serve as secretary, are there any further nominations for secretary?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Worthams?
move that nominations for secretary be closed.
There being no further nominations for secretary, without objection, nominations are closed. Nominations now being closed and there being no nomination other than Commissioner Londo for secretary, is there a motion to elect Commissioner Londo as secretary?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Worthams, a motion has been made by Commissioner Worthams. Is there a second?
Support.
Support.
Commissioner Elasan, thank you for your support. All in favor of Commissioner Londo serving as secretary, indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposition? The yeas have it, and Commissioner Londo will serve as secretary for the 2024 year. Congratulations. All righty, let's see. Our next agenda item is commissioner closing comments. My fellow commissioners, are there any closing comments before we adjourn?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Worthams.
let me begin by congratulating you on a successful term as our chair. I know you've gave you some comments earlier. I didn't want to steal from the thunder at that point in time. I've been proud to observe you from afar and to really be impressed by the skill and the grace in which you have led this commission for the last 2 years, particularly coming out of COVID. I think the example that you have set really has inspired me personally, and I think has been seen as very impressive with a number of other folks. So thank you for your leadership. I'm so glad that you continue on the commission, so I can continue to look to you for examples, and really do appreciate our friendship as well that we've been able to establish in the short time that we have directly been working with each other. I also want to give thanks to outgoing Vice Chair Elasan, who I have also been very impressed with the way that you served in your role as Vice Chair and supported Portia in the work that she's done and the work that we've all done. And so I'm very glad to have you continue for another 4 years with us. And thank you for the great relationship that we have been able to establish as well. Lastly, to my fellow officers-elect, Chair-elect Laura and Secretary-elect Londo, I'm looking forward to working with you over the course of the next year as we tackle, I think, will be an interesting time. The executive director had mentioned how the budget looks a little tighter than what we've had in the previous years. And so as the department adjusts to these new fiscal times, and as we go into what I think will be a historic year, depending on what happens in August and in November for sure, our collective efforts will definitely be something that the people of the state of Michigan will need as we protect the civil rights of everyone who calls themselves a Michigander. So congratulations to both of you. I look forward to working with you. And thank you, Madam Chair, for the time.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words, Commissioner Worthams. As we do this, I am going to officially pass the gavel and let then Commissioner Lara make any comments she would want to, and then adjourn the meeting if that works for you. So I will again say congratulations to our 2024 commission officers, Chair Lara, Vice Chair Worthams, and Secretary Londo. Chair Lara, I am now officially passing the gavel to you. Congratulations. And I will
Thank you. Before I say, and thank you, you're still chair until I gavel. Chair Roberson, are there any other commissioners that wish to make any comments at this time before I close the meeting?
Madam Chair. I'd like to thank Commissioners Roberson and El Hassan for your service, not just to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, but to the residents of the state of Michigan as chair and vice chair. I'm really glad to see you both still sitting at this table and look forward to continuing to work with you I'd also like to congratulate Chair-elect Lara and Vice Chair-elect Worthams, as I know you're both going to lead this body with passion, humility, and a relentless advocacy for the civil rights of Michiganders. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say how extraordinarily grateful I am for the opportunity to serve you all as Secretary of this esteemed body. Thank you for your trust and for your confidence, and I'm extremely excited to work with Chair-elect Lara and Vice Chair-elect Worthams as a member of the executive team. Now, I would like to take a moment to discuss something extremely disconcerting that I'm sure you've all become aware of recently. In 2023, the country of Uganda passed into law the Anti-Homosexuality Act, better known as the Kill the Gays Bill, which requires a minimum sentence of 20 years for same-sex relations and the death penalty for certain other homosexual conduct. You may be wondering why I'm bringing up a law passed in another nation. And it's because a Michigan congressman, Representative Tim Walberg, tacitly endorsed that law in an October speech. And it is also worth mentioning that he was introduced by the author of a 2009 bill in Uganda that last year's Anti-Homosexuality Act was based off of. I'd like to applaud the LGBTQ+ Commission in Michigan, including Executive Director Raul Hernandez Guzman, for their condemnation of Walberg's comments. And additionally, I would like to add my own. 2023 was a record year for enshrining and protecting the civil rights of the LGBTQ community and all protected classes in the state of Michigan. And as I mentioned before, I have the unique privilege of being the first ever openly LGBTQ member of this body. I can't believe that despite how far our state has come, a Michigan congressman just months ago was engaging in virulently homophobic and transphobic speech in support of a law that would imprison or execute people like me and my LGBTQ brothers and sisters. Our state deserves better than someone who endorses casting aside our fundamental civil right to exist. I'm extremely grateful to be sitting here with all of you to protect the civil rights of Michiganders from anyone who would endorse their violation. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Londo, Secretary-elect. Any other comments? All right, hearing none, my comments will be very brief. First of all, I would like to thank Commissioner Roberson and Commissioner El Hassan for your leadership over the past 2 years. You've been wonderful models for how the commission can and should be led. So I really appreciate your models as well as your friendship. I hope to, I'm really glad that the governor has reappointed both of you as well.
Thank you.
I look forward to working with all the fellow commissioners. I think that this is an exciting time for the Michigan Civil Rights Commission, particularly as we are in an election year when there are so many items that directly affect what we do and what the Michigan Department of Civil Rights does. So I look forward to more exemplary work from the department. So I ask for your help. I ask for your suggestions. I am used to always getting suggestions from people, and I look forward to this year. So as we adjourn this meeting of the Michigan Civil Rights Commission, please note that our next meeting will convene on Monday, April 29th, 2024 in Kalamazoo at a time and location to be determined. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Madam Chair.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Worthams. Is there a second?
Support.
Been supported by Commissioner El Hassan. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Opposed? The motion to adjourn carries unanimously, and the meeting of the Michigan Civil Rights Commission is adjourned. The time is 11:51. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Congratulations.